Tom will profile some of the players to watch out for here in a minute, but the Gales started off with a pipe attack from Marcus Trentz, somebody that we're going to have to watch out for all day long for Queens.
Definitely going to see a lot of Marcus Trentz, especially coming out of the back row for the Gales. Alberta, if they do have one weakness on the block, they're a very good blocking team, but they don't often read the back row attacks well. Going to be a huge area where Queens can really look to score some points.
Gales going to have to be strong from the service line as well, and one of their best, Zach Hutchison, back to serve. Hard serve goes off the tape, but handled nicely out of 5. Set the pipe back the other way. The block is there and lands on the court. Malcolm Prentice with the solo block out of the middle for Queens.
Great pipe attack from Queens, and on the flip side, great read on the pipe attack coming from the Golden Bears. Going to be really key here for Alberta. Try to take advantage of some of these mismatches, especially in the middle. Both are middle 6'8". You got Prentice, who's not a short guy, but Alberta definitely has a bit of meat on him.
Hard serve and the attack out of the middle, one that Tom just mentioned. Number 12, George Hoburn, 6'8", 235 pounds, out of Sherwood Park, Alberta. Gets Alberta on the board.
Should get him to the NFL Combine, Kyle.
Looks like it. He goes back to serve, and again, we'll have a number of key players to watch from Alberta as well. Again, coming in as the 2nd seed in this tournament. Hoburn with a float serve. Grossinger pass to the offside, and Newart swings it through, gets through the block, just on the outside of Aaron Chambers.
Queens, a team that really has had their offense come alive last stretch of the regular season as well into the playoffs. Starting with the upset of the Western Mustangs in 4 sets, and their offense has just been incredible these last few weeks.
Float serve comes in tight. They set into the middle, just in play. As they come across there with Chambers able to find the touchline on the side. And it's 3-2 now in favor of the Gales, just coming down the line there on the block from Newark.
Jack Peckham, one of the bigger players for Queens, around 6'5", 6'6". He's even looking small when he's standing next to these Alberta middles.
Jack Peckham, the transfer from Nipissing, the 5th year. His last year of eligibility, great set from Grossinger to the far side to find Trentz, who's back on the left side after some time spent on the right. And what a double block between Trentz and Jack Peckham. 4-2 for the Gales.
Great blocking early from the Gales, especially on definitely Alberta's biggest player to watch, Tariq Sani. Led the country this year in total kills.
Tariq Sani in the running for Player of the Year that ultimately went to Adam Schreimer from Trinity Western. And a great cut out of the middle, good inside set that time from Luke Brisbane.
That's 3 early middle attacks with the Golden Bears, 3 early kills. See if that could be a common target as we move through this match.
Something Alberta is going to want to try to continue to do is establish that middle so that they cut less pressure on Tariq Sani, who's again a hard hitter from the left side. Short serve off the tape, picked up by Kaufman. That pipe ball again by Hutchison, a little too flat and out the back. The point goes to Alberta, and we're tied at 4.
Yeah, Sani obviously the biggest attacker for the Golden Bears statistically, so could be really important for other players like the middles and as well Alex McMullen on the outside to step up, take advantage of the opportunities they get.
Michael Gertz with a float serve, and it drops in front of Hutchison. Great dip on the serve there by Gertz. Finds the pot, nobody there to return as Hutchison sprawled. Couldn't quite pick it up.
Looking like a Tim Wakefield knuckleball there, just dropping down in front of Hutchison for strike 1.
Gertz continuing to serve here for the Golden Bears. Float short serve again. Kaufman handles. Have to adjust, and Trentz with a roll goes into the antenna. Good adjustment there by Trentz to take a bit off, but it flies into that near side antenna. Close the play dead, and it's a 6-4 Alberta lead.
Marcus Trentz carries a very heavy load for this Gales offense. Led the OUA in kills as well as total attempts with over 500.
And an overpass there from Hutchison, and almost a mishandle back the other way. Peckham with a joust at the net with Brisbane. Goes far side, Trentz off the block. That's the power Marcus Trentz brings. Again, we've seen Trentz all over the floor over the last couple of years, Tom. Effective from the right side, but back to his natural spot on the left, and he can just crush the ball.
Absolutely, wherever he is on the floor, be it right or left, he can definitely find ways to score. Just muscles that ball right past the strong Alberta block.
Trentz with they go to Sani. Kaufman able to pick it up on the float serve from Trentz. Roll from Newart out of the backcourt. Brisbane with a touch. Second hands from the lib out of the backcourt, and the swing is there. They call a touch on the block, and a push there from Hutchison to the back corner and 1. Sets come left side off the top of the block again. Hutchison takes hands. Sets to Grossinger. Back court. Newart. Cross court. Picked up nicely by Sani. Best rally of the match so far. Pipe roll shot coming from Alberta. Go to Trentz on the right, and it's swung into the block. Back off Marcus Trentz. Great effort on both ends. But the point is won by the Golden Bears.
Some terrific block touches and defense early from both sides. Alberta team really known coming from the west for their blocking. They were second in the country in total blocks. They can form a big block, especially when you got two guys coming in at 6'8" out of the middle. That's pretty easy to form around.
Aaron Chambers, jumping float, handled by Trentz. Grosinger to the far side, off the top of the block from Hutchison, saved nicely there by Chambers. Passed over on the free ball. Kaufman takes the ball, touch inside to Peckham with a hammer out of the middle. Great timing there from Grosinger to Peckham. The block set up there by Alberta, but to no avail as Prentice and Kaufman will switch spots. Malcolm Prentice back in, Peckham to serve.
Here's a rotation really where Alberta can trap Queens a little bit. You got the smaller middle in. You got Grosinger, the smaller setter up front. A couple of mismatches to take advantage of here and really try to go on a bit of a run.
There's the first start of it there as the attack finds a seam in the block, but Trent's gonna roll, picks it up out of 6. Pass from Hutchison, they find Newert far side, and that lands in the back open spot in position 6. Great attack up there from Michael Newert, 7-7.
Love the aggression there from Newert. The rookie's had a terrific year for Queens. Stepped in early really as a substitution for Hutchison, who battled a lot of injuries coming out of the summer and into the first half of the season, and he's really earned that starter role in the second half as Hutchison's back and he's still in there.
Great execution there by Alex McMullen, though, the roll shot over top of the block. Queens has to brace himself from the power from McMullen, but that time just a little creative. Roll shot over top of the block and drops it just behind the attack line.
I think, Kyle, just interesting to note here, so for my confusion, we have Luke Brisbane, the setter, and then we also have Alex McMullen, who's from Brisbane, Australia. That is, I'm going to have to mentally note that one down. That's confusing because Brisbane himself is from Melbourne, Australia.
Brisbane from Melbourne, and then we have McMullen from Brisbane. Try to keep that under wraps as Terry Danilick and crew from Alberta going down under for some of their recruiting and found some great players in the form of McMullen and Brisbane, who of course is from Melbourne. Sani with the roll shot out of the back. Grosinger, backcourt to Trentz. Hammers it through, but it clips the tape and slows the ball down. Great hands there from the libero off the top of the head. Coming across there from Hoburn. Keeps the play alive. Kaufman, second ball to the right side to Newert. Roll shot over top. Brisbane has to, or McMullen takes first ball. Brisbane in to touch. Sani with the push goes cross court, but handled by Kaufman. Push far side. Hutchison with an angle. Comes across and is defended by Schubert. Sani again off the tip of the block. The point goes to Alberta. Those long rallies demonstrating great volleyball both sides, but Alberta has been the benefactor of both of them in the last couple of points.
Yeah, Alberta just really wearing Queens down. Queens, no stranger at all to long matches this year. They had 6 different matches that went to 5 sets, so they've got the endurance. A handful of others going to at least 4, but like you said, Alberta winning these long rallies so far.
And great awareness there from Neuert to take a touch off the ball. Rolls down and finds the open spot. A lot to look forward to if you're the Queens Gales. A lot of young talent on the floor as a starter. Marcus Trent's obviously leaving, but next year they'll still have, obviously, Grosinger as a rookie. They got Newert as a rookie. They got Zach Hutchison, who'll be back. Kaufman is still in the early stages of his career, and Malcolm Prentice as well. Joel Rudd on the bench, a great option. So Queens volleyball looking great. Will be back on the OUA circuit for years to come. And a swing from the left side by Gertz.
Yeah, like you mentioned, great young core the Gales have. Brenda Willis as well will be graduating along with players like Peckham and Trentz this year. What an illustrious career she has had, OUA Coach of the Year this season.
30-plus years manning the Queens men's volleyball program. As Grosinger comes to the backside to Newert. Handled a lot of space to work with out of the back there from McMullen. Goes to his forearms, triple block set up at the net, but Alberta keeps it alive. Sani with a roll shot. Newert picks that up. Grosinger comes to the offside. Hutchison stays behind the attack line and off hands and out of play. Great hands there by Zane Grosinger.
Yeah, we've mentioned already how strong the Alberta block has been all year, but Queens doing a really great job early on, being aggressive. They're not shying away. They are swinging hard, going right after that block, and they've been able to find some success early going off of the Alberta block.
Queens peaking at the right time, hitting their stride, heading into the OUA playoffs. Gave McMaster a little bit of a fright in the OUA final, despite it being a 3-0 victory for the OUA perennial powers, but the Gales, OUA silver medalists, and certainly holding their own here, down a single point midway through the first set.
That was really one of the first open, clean shots Sandy has had. He's had a few tips, few rolls, few sets a little too tight, but if he can get into a rhythm, there's not many players in the country who can stop him.
Great pass up there. The touch off the attack from Newart is handled by Sandy, but it goes well out of play off the forearms. And we're tied back at 11 points apiece.
A lot of action already for Newart. 3 kills and 6 total attacks. That was his 4th, I believe, actually, in that last ball.
Schubert passes on serve receive. Queens called on the net, and the attack did find the sideline nonetheless. So the point will go to Alberta any way you look at it. Back to serve will be Gertz. Michael Gertz, jumping float serve, and finds the tape a little bit too short. Tried to find that spot just in front of the attack line, but a little bit, not enough on it as it dips right into the top of the tape.
Neither team really able to form much of a run here in the early going. Got a lot of back and forth side-out volleyball happening.
Trent's with the serve, set comes to the inside. What an excellent touch on the pickup there from Newart, and they're gonna call it double. Tons of spin on that ball, nothing that Grosinger can do on that. I actually thought it hit the deck, but a great pickup there from Newart.
Yeah, Grosinger almost got flat-footed as that one. Nice little kick save there. That's a tough ball to set, especially in a gym with the ceiling this high.
13-12 is the lead in favor of Alberta. Their jump float is deep. Kaufman mishandles, but it's still up. Second ball touch taken by Trentz, and just a free ball thrown over by Hutchison. Set inside to Brisbane. Far left side, McMullen. Are they going to call a tip? And they will. They call a touch on the block set by the Gales. They're actually going to call it inbounds. I think there was a touch on the block nonetheless.
Nice offensive combination early from the Golden Bears, setting up McMullen, the second team Can West All-Star. Nice fast little set just popping over the Alberta middle, and he was right there slamming home.
Great serve that time from Gertz. Push to the far side. Hutchison finds Gertz with contact, or Chambers, excuse me, coming across hard. Chambers gets his hands up, can't handle it, goes out of play. (14-13) Alberta. Peckham back to serve for the Gales. Jumping float, deep serve from Peckham. It's up top to Brisbane. Quick serve set in the middle, and George Hoburn gets up top. Swings quickly, no block set by Queens.
Alberta continuing to go right at Malcolm Prentice when he is in the front row. And if you've got the mismatch, you may as well take advantage of it. Who cares if everyone in the gym knows that's where you're going? You still got to try to get up and stop it. Queens hasn't been able to slow down the middle attack very well. Brisbane with a great serve, mishandled by Trentz. That'll take us to the first set technical timeout. The Alberta Golden Bears leading 16-13, but if you're Queens, you have to be happy with how they've gone so far here in the opening set. And if you're Brenda Willis and assistant coach Gabe DeGroot, we'll be talking to your guys, just continuing to trade points here, try to go on a run maybe later on in the set. Yeah, we mentioned no team really being able to get out too much of a run, but Alberta with a 4-1 run to take them into this first technical timeout. Their offense is being very powerful. If you're Queens, though, you definitely need to continue to be aggressive, attack that big Alberta block, and try to find some kills off of the hands. So far, pretty well balanced for the Golden Bears. 5 players on the board with at least 2 points. So they're spreading the ball around nicely right now, and the Gales trying to do the same. But again, they're gonna go as far as the connection between Grosinger and Trentz will take them. They've had other guys contributing, but Trentz is gonna be their go-to guy offensively. Definitely a lot of balls being distributed right now, mainly to the pins for Queens. Newart, Trentz leading the way. Newart with 8 attempts already, Trentz with 7. I think you do try to get the middle going a little bit if you can, just to establish it is a threat and it will be there. Peckham has contributed to the one attempt he's had, but definitely want to continue, whether it's a good pass or a bit off the net, just at least establish that presence is there. Not allow Alberta's blockers to release early and set up a strong block on your outside hitters. Peckham will want to be somebody to get rolling here for the Gales, but great save at the net by Grosinger, still able to set it to the outside to Hutchison. Hutchison swings out of into the block and out of play. That's a big swing point there for the Gales. 17-13 looks a little more imposing than the 16-14. Tariq Sandy saying that one just went off the underside of his, almost in his armpit. Guess it must be a disadvantage when you jump 40 inches in the air.
Grossinger with the service ace for Queens brings it to within a single point. And Grossinger's had an outstanding year, OUA Rookie of the Year, and recognized as a Rookie All-Canadian as well. It's somebody that the Gales are going to build around for years to come. Serve clips the tape there, set into the middle, and you said it before, Tom, that huge edge that the Golden Bears have in the middle there with George Hoburn getting up over top of Prentice. Nothing that the Gales can do defensively. That block's not set up.
Yeah, and Queens has even done a pretty good job of reading the middle attack well. It's so tough to block the quick attack, especially when he's got 4 or 5 inches on you. It's going to make life even harder.
McMullen with a jump or standing float. Kaufman picks it up on second ball, comes to Hutchison with a quick roll. Schubert there to read it. Pushed to the far side by Sani. Joust at the net, temporarily won by Alberta. Backcourt attack by Trentz. Stays behind the attack line. Schubert again on second hands. An attacking error this time on Alberta as Jackson Kennedy couldn't convert. First time we've said Kennedy's name today, the first year from Edmonton. Hits the ball long and out of play, and he'll drop back in to receive, and we'll see if Hutchison tries to attack the new set of hand, their new platform here on serve receive. Toss from Hutchison. Great serve handled by McMullen. Brisbane with a tip inside. Kaufman reads that one, but it's tight to the tape. Saved by Grossinger. No, they're going to call him. His shoulder may have clipped the net, or he had come underneath. They're going to call it net because his feet were certainly parallel to the net. So he wasn't going to cross over the center line, but Grossinger a little disappointed in the call.
I'm not seeing the net move too much, but that's why the referee does have that big, nice stand. He's got the best view.
Nice badge, too. Pass inside, Grossinger. Newart with a big attack, answers right back for Queens. And now they get Peckham back in the front court with Marcus Trentz on the left. So certainly backhands right now with Newart, Trentz, and Peckham. The lineup you want to see at the front court if you're the Gales late in the set.
Yeah, and a great side-out run there from the Gales. They've done a good job coming out of this timeout, staying aggressive, especially from Newart's had some great swings on the right early on.
Brisbane cuts again into the middle. The swing is there from Aaron Chambers. Goes outside the block, cuts to his right. A little more comfortable out of the middle for most guys, swinging with the right hand, the cut to the right. That cut left into position one. Tough to pull off sometimes. Sani, hard serve, it's passed by Trentz. Push far side to Trentz, comes down the line, no touch on the block. Marcus Trentz absolutely teeing off on that ball, but no touch on the block, and that's gonna force Brenda Willis and the Gales to call timeout. 20-17 the lead in favor of Alberta. Gales still very much in it, but they need to try to answer in a hurry here for Alberta, trying to close out the set on a service run.
Absolutely. Alberta may be the favorite on paper, but Queens is a team that's coming into tournaments. They haven't been in the national tournament since 2012, which was when they actually hosted in Kingston, but a team that's not really afraid to go up against anyone, as we saw as they traveled to London and annihilated the Western Mustangs in 4 sets. Zach Hutchison with a huge game in that one, 23 kills, and they're confident. I talked to a few other players before the game. They're feeling good. They know they can beat this team. They've done a good job early of limiting Sani, which I know is one of their big tactics in order to try to have success, but really the main thing that sticks out so far is just the presence of that Alberta middle.
And Queens with 2 late season victories, including the OUA semifinal over Ryerson, who were one of the favorites to be present here out of the OUA for this national championship. Obviously 3 spots, and one looked as though it was going to go to Ryerson as McMullen comes out of the backcourt and pushes Alberta back into the lead, up by 4.
All started with a good serve from Sani. 8th in the Canada West in terms of service aces, also the leader in service errors, but it's got some pace on it when it's in.
And Sani again paints that sideline. That is the high risk, high reward that Sani brings with his serve, and he's fired up after that one.
Absolutely, errors are naturally going to be part of having such a strong serve like that, but you just got to let him grip it and rip it.
22-17 in favor of Alberta. Sani with a hard serve again, and Hutchison picks it up. Grossinger pass to the far side to Trentz, hammers down, goes off the arms of Schubert. Good location on the attack there from Marcus Trentz.
Yeah, Trent's a player who can struggle sometimes with especially out of system attacking, but a great deep corner shot there from him.
Michael Gertz back in for Alberta. And Newitt, deep serve into 6. Brisbane, far side to Sani with a cross-court attack. Go to the right side, and Tariq Sani continues to take over late in this set. And that's the presence that he brings. It's another timeout for the Gales. May as well expend their second one here, down 23-18.
Sani done a real good job this season. Came in last year as a rookie and on a very talented Alberta Golden Bears team that won silver last year at Nationals, and he was more of a rookie role player. Wasn't expected to carry the load he has this year, but now he's done a much better job of stepping in to that leadership role and really carrying this team offensively. Also a member of the junior national team, had a terrific experience with them overseas this summer.
So the second quarterfinal here is underway, almost approaching the final of the first set. We saw the UBC Thunderbirds walk over the UNB Varsity Reds in our first quarterfinal, the 3-6 showdown. So we get another substitution incoming. Max Elgert will come in to serve for Alberta. Make that front court, Max Elgert taking over for Brisbane, coming in as the backup setter.
Elgert, a very good backup setter for the Golden Bears. Another player, some national team experience with Canada.
And a deep float serve this time from Alberta goes long. Keeps the Gales in a comfortable position at the moment, down 4, but are only 2 points conceded away from dropping the opening set. So again, this is the 2-7 matchup. Alberta, the Canada West runners-up, falling in the Canada West final to Trinity Western. And the Gales, the OUA runners-up, as Sani gets out of the way at the last second as it goes long. Another service error from the Gales puts it up to set point.
Rough time for an unforced error there if you're Queens, but right now you got to dig and try to get a few quick side outs and do your best just to claw back into this, and even if you don't win this set, at least establish yourself heading into the second.
Deep float from Chambers, mishandled there by Trent and unable to keep it alive. Start to finish, a messy point there on reserve receive for Queens, and that'll finish up set number 1 for the Alberta Golden Bears. They take it by a score of 25-19, so a 6-point edge over the 7-seeded Queens Gales. But a good set nonetheless, back and forth, and we'll see if the Gales can recover and push back here in set number 2.
Yeah, very close. We were tied at 12, and then like we said, Alberta going on that quick run to put them at a bit of an advantage going into the technical timeout, but Queens showing some good aggression early. Their passing just sort of seemed to become a little shakier.
Welcome back to the Burridge Gymnasium here on the campus of McMaster University, the site of the 2018 USports Men's Volleyball National Championship. This is quarterfinal number 2, and the Alberta Golden Bears take the first set. Again, the 2nd seed in this tournament and the 2nd seed out of Canada West. They lost the Canada West Championship to the Trinity Western Spartans, who are the top seed in the tournament. Queens Gales seeded 7th as the runners-up out of the OUA. And again, this is our second matchup. The 6 p.m. matchup should be a show, Tom. The McMaster Marauders seeded 5th will take on the Montreal Caravan seeded 4th. The RSEC champions and the OUA champions facing off with an opportunity to face off with either Trinity Western or UBC in the semifinal tomorrow.
And it seems like we've already got some McMaster fans making their way into the gym, trying to get some good seats for what should be a terrific matchup. The 4-5, always one of the better quarterfinals to have. You have two teams very evenly matched, both Montreal and McMaster. Very good blocking teams, very good digging teams. And loaded with some offensive weapons. That should be a great match.
And certainly a different look McMaster team, a big overhaul from their team that competed last year at Nationals and the previous years as well. Danny Demyanenko no longer on the team, Stephen Marr, Jason McCarthy both gone from the team. But a lot of guys that have stepped up this season, led by Brandon Coppers, setter Dave Doty, among others, including OUA Player of the Year Andrew Richards.
Andrew Richards has been absolutely spectacular, really been their stud all season. And speaking of overhauls, the Alberta Golden Bears, a team that also saw some change from last year to this year. Mentioned they were the silver medalists at Nationals, but they've replaced 5 starters from last year, including probably one of the better setters in USports volleyball history, Brett Walsh, who's now playing professionally overseas.
Deep serve from Zane Grossinger to start the second set. Floater trying to find that back corner in position 1, but a little too heavy. Continues to float out the back. It's 1-0 early here for Alberta.
Really just speaks volumes too as well, going back to my point about the overhaul for Alberta. Speaks volumes of their program, being able to replace 5 starters and still find yourself as the 2nd seed in the national tournament.
Push to that far side, trying to get the tip across. Block is red. Alberta arguing that maybe a pancake, but I think it had touched down in time. The point goes to the Gales, who answer back right away. Good hustle from Alberta to tuck underneath and cover up the pot, though. 3 back into serve receive, including Schubert, who's lined up deep in 6 for hard-serving Zach Hutchison. Great serve again by Hutchison, but it's handled by McMullen. And Sanic comes to the far side. Prentice has to take second ball on his forearms. Sanny passes it straight up. Right back to Sanny off the hands there of Trentz. Tried to go up and read the block. Good handle there, though, by Luke Brisbane. Facing the net, able to set it straight up into the air for an attack coming across from Sanny.
And it took 2 attempts there for Sanny to score on that one. If you're Queens, that's all you can really ask for. Try to make him really work for his points. Don't let him off too easy. Tire him out if you can, because he's going to see a lot of action later in this game.
Hoburn on the serve. Hutchison in great spot on coverage off the swing from Trentz. Trentz with a tip this time. Brisbane set to the outside again, and Sanny, smart ball, touches it straight off. It goes right off the block there of Trentz and out of play. Good heads-up volleyball that time by Sanny, who doesn't necessarily need to win points with power, with smarts and awareness that time.
Yeah, absolutely. Really known for his power. We've seen some very smart shot selection through the first set and early in the second.
Grossinger into the inside to Prentice, who cuts outside the block there from Chambers. They come back, and a good off-pace attack there from Michael Gertz. They're able to push it through the seam there and catching Kaufman a little flat-footed.
Great dig, too, in the back row from Hoburn. Middle's not generally known for being defensive specialist, but Hoburn doing a good job of sticking in there and digging that middle attack from Prentice.
Deep serve, Kaufman handles first ball. Grossinger to the offside, tipped up by Newert. Kaufman will take hands this time as Trentz has to adjust. Handled nicely that time by Hoburn again. And pushing through the block, Michael Gertz gets it through the seam again. As you said, Tom, passing from the backcourt, contributing to offense from Alberta. And it's Hoburn again, the 6'8" middle. Hoburn will continue to serve, up 5-1. Deep floater, Trentz with a great pass inside to Grossinger. Push far side to Hutchison. Alberta able to get a few touches on it before it drops to the floor. Good set there from Grossinger to find Hutchison coming out of the back.
Yeah, I really like that choice from Grossinger. Got pulled a little towards Trentz, and the whole Alberta block kind of started to shift a little bit. As you mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Queen's going to be able to find some success if they can swing efficiently out of the back row.
Serve is there from Prentice, comes in tight. Brisbane finding an attack in the middle. Again, it's Gertz. And Alberta starting to roll early in the set, up 6-2 with their big server, Tariq Sanny, back to serve. See if they can create some early set separation here The Gales dropping 4 back in to try to defend the serve from Sani. High spinner, and he takes a bit off of it. Trentz has to adjust. Kaufman takes second ball. Trentz stays in behind the attack line. Sani with a great touch. They're going to say no, it dropped down. And the Gales get a big point there to have the deficit to 6-3.
Queen's really going to have to start trying to firm up their passing just a little bit, let Grosinger be comfortable at the net, have all 3 options to run. They've been forced to run a bit more out of system than I'm sure they would like to.
A little unorthodox serve there from Neward. Wasn't quite sure what he wanted to do with it, but ends up getting the point as a result. There's off a couple sets of arms there in the defense and service from Alberta. And it's 6-4. Hard floater again off the arms. But it's fixed nicely, but pushed well too hard that time from Tariq Sani and goes out of play as Jared Schubert struggled, the 4th-year libero. Couldn't quite get a good touch on that ball at service.
Yeah, serving in this gym is always a bit tricky if you come from out of town. The windows in behind the court cause a bit of a draft and can really force balls just to sail on out of here if you're not too careful with your touch.
Set to the inside, Alberta responds. Re-establish their 2-point lead. Michael Gertz will drop back into serve for Alberta. And great serve from Gertz. Grosinger able to handle on second touch. Newert has to just push it over as he was coming out of the back court. Swing to the left side, Alex McMullen. He's been quiet here in the second set. He gets an opportunity to swing through there, and we're going to get a substitution for Queens. As Peckham is going to come off and go to the bench. Service up from the Golden Bears, and it's short, goes into the tape. And a service error and a free point for the Gales. Trim the deficit to 2 points, and Marcus Trentz goes back to serve for the Gales. Set inside Brisbane. The attack from Aaron Chambers clips the tape. A little bit of a mishit there from Chambers, but they catch a break because it goes off the tape and drops over. Aaron Chambers. Deep serve from Chambers. It's handled by Trentz. Newert has to take second ball, and the attack rolls over top of the net. Pushback stays on as Sani off the shoulder of Seifert. And goes out of play. Kaufman scrambling, trying to get the ball picked up. Can't quite get there in time, and it's another point, 1 for Alberta, who's back up by 4.
Interesting substitution from head coach Brenda Willis, going with the rookie Seifert in the middle, taking out your number 1 middle, Jack Peckham. Maybe hoping the 6'7" rookie can try to match up a little better on the blocking end with Alberta's big 6'8" middles.
Big swing out of the backcourt and an equally impressive pickup there from Newert as Hutchison throws the ball over. Brisbane pushes to the left side with some pace. Trentz gets a touch on it. Good patience and push there to the outside there by Brisbane, though. That's going to force the Gales to take a timeout.
Yeah, and Queen's getting some good touches on defense. They're just not converting those transition opportunities into in-system attacking. If you sort of look on Alberta's side of the ball, they're digging the ball well and they're still able to run all 3 of their options. Queen's been forced a lot more to go out of system, becoming a lot more predictable when you bring Grosinger off the net. Really kind of limits his options and helps Alberta's block figure out where to go a lot quicker. Whereas Alberta's done a much better job in transition, just taking the ball nice and high middle of the court, allowing Brisbane to get in there, have all of his options available to him, and really help him get out to this 5-point edge.
Seifert is going to stay out for the time being, and Seifert from Western Canada High School in Calgary, Alberta. So perhaps a little familiarity playing against some of these Western Canadian players on the Alberta Golden Bears. This may be something that the Gales can look to here, or maybe just getting Peckham a bit of time off as the Alberta middles continue to excel here at the net. Deep serve, Kaufman. Bit of a mishandle from him, but Hutchison able to keep it alive, and Newert pushes it over, and Newert, they actually called the net on Alberta. I thought Newert may have flipped it on his momentum through, but it's called on Alberta, and the point for Queens.
Still not the best pass that Queens has had, but good to get a quick side out coming out of a timeout.
Just a standing float serve there from Seifert. And off the overpass, goes all the way out the length of the court and out of bounds. Gets it back up to a 5-point cushion for the Golden Bears. It's 12-7. And again, another 4-set receive. We've got Neward a little bit tucked in right now, but still it's enough of a seam on serve receive, and it's a short ball as Luke Brisbane pushes it into the net. Zane Grosinger, again, the all-Canadian rookie, back to serve for the Gales. Jumping float there from Grosinger. McMullen on first ball. Brisbane gets there, and the roll over the top goes off the top of the hands of Hutchison. Kaufman, great set from Kaufman to Hutchison. But block slows it down enough. Alberta will try to come back in the counter. Sani finds the outside of the block, cutting to the right seam. That's a big point there again from Alberta. Kaufman getting a lot of credit from the rest of his teammates on the floor.
Yeah, great out assist set from Kaufman, but even better transition set from Brisbane on Alberta's side, and Sani allowing them to run that fast ball to the pin.
Serve just over top of the tape. Kaufman has to scramble, and now Grosinger the same. Good handle by Hutchison, though, to keep it alive. Push over top, and that's Jackson. Jackson Kennedy rolling the ball over top. And that pushes the lead back up to 6. It's 14-8 now for Alberta, approaching the technical timeout.
Alberta seeming to have some success early on, just tipping and rolling to the pot. Queens been caught on their heels a little bit, expecting the power to come.
Great roll shot that time from Newart, and the double block set up. Hutchison and Prentice coming across, closing it up nicely. That's a big momentum point. Hopefully the Gales can build on.
Good block on the outside from Hutchison as he goes back to serve.
Hutchison, a hard, aggressive server here for Queens. Got that high jump serve. See if he can convert a couple of points here for the Gales. Great pickup though. Brisbane gets across, set up top, and it's a roll. Trentz has to get to it with just a touch. And then Neward handles and gets it across court. Michael Neward again showing up on the big stage, and he's had a great start.
Neward continuing to be aggressive, especially out of system, as he finds a nice spot in the back corner there.
So Hutchison back to serve. Deep ball. Brisbane, touch inside, good heads up play inside that time. Push to the outside, it's another point for Alberta.
Not the best set there for Holborn, but great adjustment mid-air from him. And a nice soft touch. That's one of the middle's favorite spots, short 4, just in front of the tee. If you don't have the perfect set, he's able to convert there.
Grosinger, pass to the outside, comes back off of Newart. Tough break there for the Gales. Hard swing into the block and deflects out, and that'll take us to the technical timeout. And it's 16-10 in favor of Alberta, who will look to push out of the tech timeout and cruise to the second set victory. The Gales looking to claw their way back in, trailing by 6 midway through the second set.
Yeah, and so does the passing of the Queens Gales has kind of limited them a bit offensively. Alberta with a bit better of a luxury of having the power of Sani to help you out, whether you're out of system or in system, but Alberta just passing the ball a little bit better and converting on the opportunities they do get. Queens just need to continue to try to be a scrappy defensive team. When they dig well, they have a lot of success. They were a top 10 team in the country, 5th in the country in digs per set. They can just find that defensive intensity and keep some rallies alive a little longer, try to wear out the Golden Bears. Could help them claw their way back into this one.
Shot there of the Gales trying to talk strategy.
Alberta currently out digging the Gales 20-15. We've seen a few pretty good rallies early on in this match, but most of them, like you said, Kyle, going in favor of the Golden Bears.
See if the Gales can claw their way out of this 6-point hole midway through the second set. Technical timeout, usually a pretty good indicator of where the set's going to go a few points after. And back to serve for Alberta is Hoburn. He gets a deep float in. Kaufman has to get to that on first ball. Grosinger gets it across to Trentz, and an attacking error from the Gales' number 2. Just a little bit too heavy. Tried to take it off a bit from a standard attack and get a bit of a roll, but sails a little bit too long there, Tom.
Yeah, Trent's such a strong guy. If he just puts even a hair too much power, especially at a system, it usually will be going out of bounds. He usually tries to hope to find the block.
Great first pass there from Hutchison. They send it inside to Prentice. Grosinger will reset, comes outside to Trentz. Double block and just coming outside the line. And that'll go the way of the Gales. Much needed point for them. And here comes Tom Ellison, hand cast and all, trying to get a bit more height up top at the net.
Even just going back in that last play, Grosinger had a great set. He held Chambers in the middle, but Chambers committed with the middle, was still able to come down, get outside, and get a touch on that block. Really just showing how much it helps to be 6'7", 6'8" when you're moving along the net like that.
So Tom Ellison coming in to serve. Great float serve from Ellison. Forces Alberta to try to reset, tip over the top. Grosinger gets there, and second hand's taken by Ellison. But can't quite get there, and what a swing from Newert. As Ellison able to pull up on second ball. Hand taped up, so had to go to his forearms. Ellison, a longtime setter here for the Gales, has given way to Zane Grosinger this season, much due to injury in the spectacular play of Grosinger, but Ellison certainly not shy to the big stage.
Not at all. He's got a terrific float serve. But just too much power there coming out of the middle.
Great response there from Alberta. Aaron Chambers just laying into that ball as Peckham will come back in for Seaford. There'll be a few switches on the Alberta side as well, as McMullen will make his way to the bench. Get Michael Gertz back in. A lot of substitutions now from Alberta, getting a lot of guys in. And the Gales still trying to play their matchups. And they've taken Ellison back out of the game after serve had been broken.
Who else do you want at the service line with a 6-point advantage other than Tariq Sani? Oh, sorry, I jinxed him. I'll take the blame on that one.
Broadcaster's jinx on Tariq Sani on that serve. But you're right, Tom. Sani has been excellent from the service line all season long, and certainly brings that dimension, that same that Zach Hutchison brings with that strong spinning serve. Here's Newert. Handled by Schubert. Brisbane pushed to the outside and a flat attack that time. Just mishitting it was Michael Gertz.
Brisbane is able to fool Trentz and Peckham. Both of them jumping at separate times, leaving Grosinger all alone on the right side, but luckily Alberta bailed them out with an attack error.
Sani just a tip over the top as he jumped out of the back court. Fake inside to Peckham, they come to Trentz. Good sell inside by Jack Peckham, and Trentz swings with a delayed block there from Alberta. That's going to force the Golden Bears to take a timeout. 3-point advantage for Alberta, but the Queens Gales chipping away 3 straight points for them.
Queens done a much better job coming out of their last time out and just staying aggressive, cleaned up the passing a little bit. Grosinger, some really good decision making here, helping them get back within 3. They're very well within striking distance, Kyle, and definitely not a set that is even anywhere close to over if they can just continue chip away, be aggressive on the dig, aggressive on serve, put Alberta in trouble. We've seen Sani run a little bit quieter here in the later part of this second set.
I think Alberta with a little bit more depth across the board than the Gales, but Queens certainly has talent for talent, matching up 6-on-6 very well with Alberta. Again, Trentz, Hutchison, and Grosinger playing well, and if Peckham can get rolling now that he's back in the game. And Mitchell Newert has had an excellent first game here in his first national championship, and probably not the last for him. As Newert's at the service line, deep float serve, mishandled, having to scramble to keep the ball alive, and Sani just throws it over. Kaufman up top, pipe ball, Hutchison rolls over the top, Sani with the first touch. Brisbane now scrambles on second, straight up for Sani, backcourt, swings straight into the net, and the rally goes the way of the Gales, and they're within 2.
Sani somewhat bailing out Queens on that rally. They had a nice free ball to try to take advantage of. It's going to be opportunities like that Queens really needs to key in on, try to earn some points, but Alberta just being really scrappy on defense here. Continuing a lot of rallies.
And this hit there on the serve from Newert, well long and out of play.
That one wasn't my fault. I said nothing. Learned my lesson early on the jinx.
Queens fans still blaming you, Tom.
That's okay. I'm sorry.
Michael Gertz back to serve. And a deep serve. It goes off the back. I think it was going to drop in anyway, but Hutchison has it go off the back and stays in play. A tough receive there from him. But that ball had some movement on it. 20-16, the lead now in favor of Alberta.
If I'm Queens here, I'm looking to try to get a good set for Trent's on the outside. He's got Brisbane blocking him.
Good float serve again from Alberta. What a touch up there. Off the attack from Trent in a scramble. Celebrate that one, Jared Schubert. What a touch that was.
Terrific dig by Schubert, just laying out for that one. One hand, no problem for him. We mentioned Queens wanted to go to Trent's, but the pass was just a bit off the net, and Alberta was able to shift their block early, knew where it was going.
Thought maybe we were going to see a timeout there from Brenda Willis, but decide not to on that time, and maybe it's going to come now as Newark swings into the net. As Willis stands up, it does indicate, and she will take it now. That is the second timeout of this set taken by the Gales, down 22-16, but continuing to put up a fight. It's been a very exciting and interesting matchup between the second-seeded Golden Bears and the seventh-seeded Queens Gales, and a matchup that we were all excited to see coming in. Gales hitting their stride late in the season, did not have the best start to the regular season, but really cruising through the OUA at the very end of the year. But Alberta, a perennial powerhouse, second in the Canada West, only to Trinity Western. Again, it's been a good back and forth here so far.
Yeah, Alberta finished the year ranked second in the country. Queens never cracked the top 10, but you know they're thrilled to be here. Like you mentioned, they had a rough start. They had a 6-8 record in the final stretch of the season, but then they won out. They won 6 of their last 9 regular season games, able to get into that third playoff spot in the East, and they just battled in the playoffs. They've really earned their way here.
And again, had a couple of big wins against Ryerson. They had to beat Western in London, and Alumni Hall, never an easy place to go and play, and they came away with a victory there to set up their spot at the Final Four, and are certainly pushing here, trying to get into the championship side of the bracket, but they got plenty of work to do. Grossinger to Trentz. Trentz goes cross court, but Schubert right there to pick it up. And a roll off the top. Kaufman with a great pickup as the Gales keep it alive. Hutchison into the block, and Kaufman picks it up once again. Pass far side to Trentz, who's just going to push it over with the forearm. Schubert there. Brisbane, far side, and it's ended with a swing from McMullen, but what a great rally back and forth. Great demonstration over the last few points from our liberos, Tom.
Yeah, great coverage there by Lucas Kaufman on the Queens attack, but Alberta taking great advantage of the free ball from Trentz, putting them within 2 points of taking a commanding 2-set lead here.
Joel Rudd getting pushed away, who's coming in to sub. He'll push it far side to Newer to change his pace and rolls. Push goes straight up, and they come to Sani, and it's intercepted, can't get pushed over, and it goes underneath the net. And Queens claws back, down 23-17.
Very solid block there from the Peckham-Trentz combination.
23-17, the lead in favor of Alberta, but Trent's back to the service line for the Gales. Serve comes across, not the best first push. Come aside to McMullen, and a block from Peckham. Deflects it back to the open court, 23-18.
Queens sort of playing a bit of Alberta strength, showing some good blocking here late in the set. Back-to-back rallies with some solid blocking.
A short serve that time, a service error from Marcus Trentz. Sets up set point here for Alberta. We've got Hoburn coming back off the bench on this middle rotation coming through, and serving will be Aaron Chambers. 24-18 for the Golden Bears. Deep serve from Chambers, mishandled by Trentz, and Newark picks it up. Trent's just going to send it over on the free ball. Passed up tight to the net, perfect for Brisbane. They come to McMullen, but Trent's there to pass it up. Grossinger has to keep pace, and Zach Hutchison off the hands of Max Elgert. Point one by the Gales.
Terrific set by Grossinger to get that ball outside to Hutchison. If you're a little bit taller, that's an easy ball to go up and try to dump on or play a little bit of offense, but he was able to get up, extend his arms, push it one outside, give Hutchison a nice one-on-one opportunity. He took advantage of it.
Gales sub Malcolm Prentice back in. Peckham serving, deep ball by him. Brisbane push to the far side to Sandy, rolls down the line. And a great swing there by Sandy to finish it off. Alberta takes the second set 25-19 and lead the match 2-0. We'll take a quick break. Join us back for set number 3 between Queens and Alberta.
What's BioSteel to me?
What's BioSteel to me?
What's BioSteel to me?
What's BioSteel to me?
You wanna know what BioSteel is? It's the fuel that helps me prove that age is just a number.
Everything it takes to win 2 gold medals.
Living healthy and still trying to keep up with my kids.
Hydration to do it again and again.
And welcome back to the Burris Gymnasium, getting set for set number 3. Alberta with a 2-0 lead over the Queens Gales. Good matchup back and forth, but a little bit too much strength at the net from Alberta. Tariq Sandy stepping up at the end to finish off the set, and Alberta leads 2-0. Would push Alberta into the national semifinal if they can win this third set. Would obviously send the Gales to the consolation bracket. And Queens coming in as the 7th seed, Alberta as the 2nd. But has not quite looked like that on paper. We saw the earlier quarterfinal game in the 3-6 matchup with the UBC Thunderbirds cruising to set wins of 11, 15, and 19, and making a statement that they are one of the top teams in the country.
Yeah, UBC really had a lot of weeks ranked either 1 or 2 in the USports rankings, and they just came out, made very quick work of the varsity Reds. If you talk about balance, attack, look no further than the UBC Thunderbirds.
We mentioned this is the last time we'll see Brenda Willis in action coaching for the Queens Gales, 30+ years, but no stranger on the other side, Terry Danilick in his 25th year coaching the Alberta Golden Bears men's team, but serving as acting head coach for this game is Brock Davidiak, the associate coach, who is up and talking, and the floor coach, or first chair coach, so to speak, here for Alberta. You see a young coaching staff for the Queens Gales alongside Brenda Willis as well, led by Gabriel de Groot. And the Queens Gales have an open search now for their next men's head coach that we have not seen, obviously, in 30+ years, Tom.
No, talked about the strength of this Alberta program. This year marks the 18th year in a row they've made it to nationals, so just a terrific program they're running there, and the results show medals in the last 4 years, which was highlighted by back-to-back gold, 2014, 2015. And only one remaining player from that team, which is Mick Mullen on the left side. But
Kaufman, pass push comes to the left side, and a good swing there from Mitchell Newart. Hits it off the top of the block and out of play. Evens things up here at a point apiece here to start the third set. Zach Hutchison back to serve for the Gales. See if Hutchison can get Queens off to an early lead here with some strong serving. Toss straight up, Hutchison into the net. And another curse.
Potential broadcaster's jinx there again.
Serve goes the way, well, serve goes short from Hutchison into the net, so the point will go to Alberta. And George Hoburn back to serve for Alberta. Jumping float from him. Grossinger pushed to the outside to Trentz. Gets it off hands, and now Sani has to take second ball. Swing from the pipe from McMullen. Straight up into the air. Should be easy for Trentz to hold on to. And Grossinger just going to push it over on the free ball. Tight inside. Brisbane makes an adjustment. Push goes inside from Sani. Great fix that time from Brisbane, but the Gales right there on top of the block. Sani, can he finish it off? No. Grossinger digs the ball up. Kaufman jumping from the back court and keeps it alive. Great rally again here, early part of the set, and it's won by the Gales as Newart pushes it off into the block. Good display there by the Gales, able to stick with it all the way through. Great job by each setter on that rally each time through, Tom.
Some great discipline, especially from the Queens Gales on the block inside. 2 or 3 consecutive block touches to keep that rally alive, slow the attack down from Alberta, allowing them ultimately to come away with that one.
Deep serve again, they come across. And Grossinger gets back onto second ball. Trentz comes across court. Great set that time, pushed to the far side, and the joust won by Sani. What precision on the back set. Coming across there from Brisbane.
It's a bit tight. Sani went one up for the joust, just out-muscled Trentz, which is, I don't think that statement has been said very many times before.
Sani back to serve after collecting his 9th point of the match, but short this time into the net. And Sani taking full responsibility for that short serve.
At least he wasn't blaming us that time. We're learning. It's day one. We got 2 more days to go, and I think we got the server's jinx out of the way.
Mitchell Newart clips the tape. Brisbane sets to the inside to Chambers, hits it with great contact off the top of the block of Peckham and out of play. And Alberta retakes the lead up 4-3.
For Queens, so you do like to see Peckham starting to read that middle attack a little better, still able to get a touch on the block, albeit Alberta comes away with the point, but going to be key for him to try to slow down what has been a real strong middle attack from the Golden Bears.
Yeah, great read there by Trentz to take the roll shot over top of the block. Finds the open spot in the pot, can't quite pick it up and make contact. And we're back to even, it's 4-4.
Alberta done a terrific job limiting Trentz's efficiency through this one. Trentz only hitting 125 as he puts that one into the net.
Trentz's serving struggles continue. I think his 3rd service error here in the match. Back to serve will be Aaron Chambers. 5-4 the lead for Alberta. Trentz hits it on serve receive. Kaufman takes second ball and forces Hutchison just to pass it over in a free ball. Tight inside to Brisbane, trying to go for the dump. They come aside. McMullen, heavy hands, it goes off. No touch called on the swing from McMullen.
Always got to try to sell it to the referee when you hit it out of bounds. Alberta doing their best, but once again, referees get to see it best.
And Peckham back to take serve for the Gales. Serve comes short. McMullen with a great pass inside. They come across, and what a pass inside to George Hoburn. Tees off on one. And that middle play again, Tom, we talked about it off the beginning. It's going to be a huge indicator of how this game has gone, and they've been great. And the Hoburn, another example of it there.
Yeah, Hoburn 5 for 6 now on his attacks. Combining with Chambers, they've got 14 kills between both of them.
Set far side, Newart stays in behind the attack line. Push comes far side to McMullen, tip just over top. Schubert passes it up, Brisbane far side to Sani. Tips over the top of the block. Grossinger far side, Newart just gonna throw it over. An adjustment by Newart. Hoburn taking hands, goes far side to Sani. Just smacks at the ball, gets it off the top of the block. The big man taking second hands and setting up an attack there from Tariq Sani.
Sani with 11 kills in this match so far, but a lot of them we've seen him just be smart with shot placement. He hasn't had to hit it 100% every time, but you gotta like, if you're Alberta, it's your first game of the weekend, and from how they've played all year, you're hoping, if you're Alberta, to have a nice championship run, and nice to not tire your shoulder out too early if you don't have to.
Good answer there by Malcolm Prentice out of the middle. Grossinger with a little inside pass. Alberta still up by 1, 7-6 is the lead. And Grosinger is back to serve. Short by Zane Grosinger again. Whenever the Gales seem to gain momentum, they give it right back on some service errors. Zane Grosinger short that time. 2-point cushion restored for Alberta. Nice serve there from McMullen. Grosinger offside to Hutchison, into the block and out of play. And Zach Hutchison with big display of power there, goes into the hands and out of play.
Hutchison almost seeming to freeze in midair for a second before connecting on that right side attack.
I showed him that. Hutchison back to serve. Another strong serve from Zach Hutchison. Off the hands of McMullen and out into the stands. That's the power on the serve that Zach Hutchison brings.
His first ace of the match. Hutchison was a key player that the Gales have added back in the second half of the season. Missed almost the entire first half with an injury, so he came back in the second half, and now is around when you consider him to be mid-season form, and what a time for that to all come together here at Nationals.
Grosinger comes across to Trentz. Schubert going to take second hand, stays clean. And they're going to say no, he did not. So they're going to say backcourt hands coming from Schubert. His foot may have just clipped that attack line top. And the referee going to make the call and blow the play dead. Queens gets the lead, up 9-8.
Like the aggression though from Schubert coming out of the back row, trying to make that set.
Hutchison with another strong serve, but it's handled nicely on receive, and it's an answer in the middle as Hoburn, another big swing from him out of the middle. Great serve receive that time from Alberta.
Both of Alberta's middles, as Chambers checks back into the match, both their middles hitting over 800, really taking advantage of the opportunities they've gotten.
Pass comes inside, Grosinger. Newert just gonna roll it over top. And then Hoburn taking second hands, not gonna call the double. That's a tough break for the Gales and their fans. And no touch on the attack there from Trentz. And you see Brenda Willis, who is frustrated, standing up and arguing her case with the official, and now Hutchison over to illustrate that point. I think he's got a good one, Tom.
Yeah, I think he had a bit of a case there. I haven't seen too many ball handling errors, but that appeared to fit the mold. Although if you're Queens, you do need a bit of a stronger attack from Newert. He just kind of gift wrapped that first roll shot for Alberta.
Kaufman with a shallow push on serve receive. Trentz, this time off the tape, takes the deflection away from Hoburn and drops in front of the attack line, and we're tied at 10. Malcolm Prentice back to serve for Queens. Jumping float serve is deep for him, and it's passed up nicely, and good execution out of the middle. May have just caught that sideline for an Alberta point. But quick offense run that time by Alberta, coming from a bit of pace coming off serve receive on first pass. And then moving quickly was Luke Brisbane to the outside. A nice point there for Alberta.
Chambers now 10 for 11 on his middle attacks. What an afternoon he has had.
And Aaron Chambers certainly in the running for player of the game from Alberta, and we'll have a look at that in a second as a pipe attack from McMullen goes off the hands of Grosinger. You can later give it to a handful of people here, Tom. A handful of them, but Alberta leading now 12-10 midway through the set.
You see on that last point, when you have such efficient middles and a presence coming out of the middle, what you're really going to do is open up a lot of opportunities for your back row attack. That set just going off of the shoulder of the middle kind of looks like it might be going there. Try to get the opposing middle to commit a bit. It'll give your back row player a lot more floor to be able to hit at, and we saw that 2 points ago.
Deep serve from Newert, and able just to push it over there on third ball. Grosinger fake into the middle. Hutchison with good coverage off his own attack. And then Trentz goes through and unable to get a touch on it is Kaufman. And that's a big point won there by Alberta, 13-11. They try to continue their push here and get to the technical timeout with the advantage. They'll go back to the service line with Michael Gertz, a fifth year from Edmonton. Gertz with a jump float. It's a deep ball and just outside the back line. Another service error from Alberta. It's a point to the Gales.
Gertz seeming to fall victim to the McMaster draft, some people like to say.
So see if Marcus Trentz can answer the call the other way of the serve. Just off the tape, McMullen. It's a scramble to get to it. Brisbane back to him, tip over the top. Newert gets there on the coverage. And Trentz out of the back court. Nice swing into the block and deflects to the floor. And Marcus Trentz trying to get the Gales back in this match. They're tied at 13.
Nice, somewhat of an overload combination right in there from Queens. Peckham in transition going for the back quick, and then Grossinger just flipping it over him to Trentz. Make it a little more confusing. Nothing confusing about that one though.
Sandy, excellent, perfect execution of that pipe attack. Brisbane puts it in a perfect location for one of the best hitters in the country. And Sandy executes perfectly there, 14-13 Alberta. Set comes inside, battle won by Grossinger. The push on the joust comes out of bounds. Sandy playing with some momentum. See if he can carry Alberta into the national semifinal. Peckham back to serve for the Gales. Serve comes in. Brisbane. Sandy again tries to take a bit off it this time. No touch called on the block. Referee will just indicate it did hit the floor. I don't think there was touch on it nonetheless.
We got Sandy coming to the back row. You almost need to sort of set that ball like he's sitting out of the middle. He jumps so far ahead from the attack line. Set just a little too far back for him. Tried to fix it, but needs a little more lead.
Peckham with a nice shallow serve, and then just keeping this one up in the air is Hoburn. An attacking error that time for McMullen. Hoburn not going to run the risk of getting called for hands this time. To take us to the technical timeout, the Gales staying with it here, Tom, and it's 16-14 for Queens.
Yeah, back-to-back attack errors from the Golden Bears, taking Queens into this technical timeout. Queens just needs to continue to try to attack aggressive, go after that Alberta block, which hasn't been as, effective as it has been in previous games for the Golden Bears. 4 total blocks so far compared to 7.5 for Queens. But Alberta really just on the defensive side of the ball having a tremendous day digging. 31-27 in favor of the Golden Bears for digs.
It's going to be make or break time for the Gales coming out of this technical timeout, though. Up 2 points if they can create a bit of padding and separation here against Alberta midway through this third set. Could certainly turn the tide of the momentum in this game. And if you're Alberta, just trying to continue to trade points here and allow this thing to come down to the final few serves and not allow Queens any momentum back in the game.
Yeah, and you made the point earlier in the match, Kyle, that the technical timeout kind of is somewhat of a nice little milestone to get to. A little halfway point in the set, but can it all be comfortable taking the lead into the tech? You got to come out, continue to execute. Queens really going to have to try to push here to extend their lead if they want to continue this game.
Yeah, especially only with a 2-point advantage, and Sandy with a hard swing out of the backcourt again. Grossinger push far side, cut from Hutchison, and that's a big point one by the Gales. Push the lead to 3 coming out of the tech instead of having Alberta within 1, and that's going to force Alberta to call a timeout as Brock Davidiak indicates the tee to the down official. And that's that 3-point edge, Tom. Again, calling we talked about on the first broadcast with myself and Jared, talking about the timeouts that are called just before and just after the technical timeout, and whether or not it's warranted sometimes, is how much of a difference there could be in that single point. But optically looking at it, you could be down 3 or going back the other way and separating that instead of being tied, going back the other way. So certainly see that there and understand why they take the timeout.
Yeah, definitely, but it's a point that has somewhat always confused me a little bit. I see a lot of coaches, like you said, either before or after the tech choosing to take one of their 2 timeouts per set. You get a free timeout with the technical, but obviously sometimes there's some extra points you want to hammer home or just really give that extended rest, especially late a set, late in the match. Going back to that last rally, though, big credit to Jack Peckham digging the hard attack from Sandy coming out of the back row and allowing Queens another opportunity to score.
Brisbane comes to the inside, the middle game working strong once again. This time it's Holborn. We've talked a lot about Aaron Chambers. It'll be interesting to see what Holborn's percentages look like, Tom, as both middles have been excellent for the Golden Bears here today.
Holborn sitting over 850, 857 right now.
Serviceable.
0 errors as well combined between Chambers and Holborn.
Grosinger, backcourt attack to Newer. Grosinger has to take first ball. Kaufman will take the hands. Set to the outside to Hutchison, down the line, off the block. And the Gales back up 3, up 18-15.
Hutchison continuing to challenge the Alberta block. And on the flip side, Queens able to slow down the Alberta attack, allowing them to get another attack in that rally.
Grosinger, float serve again. McMullen handles. Brisbane back to McMullen. Push into the hands, and again another smart play by the Alberta attack. Seeing that a lot, and back into the game now will be Jackson Kennedy, who will take the place of Michael Gertz in the front court.
That's a big front row now for Alberta. Sandy being the shortest one in there at 6'3", but boy does his vertical make up for it.
Shallow float serve, push to the outside to Newer. The block is there, but Kaufman there to the cover. Hutchison, roll this time. Inside shoot, and they're gonna call it as a lift on Holborn. Tough call to make from the official there, but they're gonna call Holborn maybe coming underneath and then making his attack, Tom.
Yeah, it's always a tough play whether you're a referee or a player to really judge when that power tip, as people like to call it, when that kind of crosses the threshold and becomes a lift. And referee setting the tone with it.
Great pass by Schubert on receive. McMullen tips over the top out of the backcourt. Grosinger inside to Prentice. Gets contact on it, but not clean. Sani. Great cut there by Sani. Knifes his way around the block. Now you see Hutchison going back over.
I think Hutchison trying to ask if that last play was a lift in the power tip. How can that one not be? Somewhat agree with the Gales, but Sandy again showing just great ball placement when that set's just not perfect for him.
Great set that time by Grosinger. Perfect pass over top to Marcus Trentz. Queens back up by 3, up 20-17. And Malcolm Prentice back to serve to keep Queens in the lead.
And this is a point in the match where really Queens has to force a bit more of a lead if they want to try to extend and take this third set.
Schubert takes second hands. Pass nicely out of the backcourt there by Hutchison. And now Newer squeaks it through the block. Double block was set up. Schubert couldn't quite get there on the scramble. 21-17 the lead now. We'll see if Davidiak takes a timeout here for Alberta. Tom Ellison back in to serve. And Davidiak will take the timeout, so Alberta will come back to the bench, and Queens leads 4 late in the set. And they've done exactly what they needed to do out of that technical timeout, Tom. They've sustained their lead, they've traded points back and forth, and now lead by 4 late in the set.
Yeah, Queens done a much better job on the defensive side of the ball, getting some really good block touches to extend some rallies, allow them to score some key points here. This is definitely a time where you can't afford any errors on either side of the ball. Now within 4, and it's just going to be a race to 4 points if you're Queens, and a 4-point deficit if you're the Golden Bears. These next few points definitely going to be big, and swinging the momentum is definitely still within reach for a team as talented as the Bears, but Queens definitely very close to extending the game.
Second timeout taken now by the Golden Bears. They are now out of timeouts. Queens still with both. So we'll see if Alberta makes a late run, if Brenda Willis and the Gales will use theirs. And to the inside, good save. Well done there by Brisbane. Keeping the offensive sequence afloat there for Alberta. It looked like it was going to be a party ball going the other way.
Yeah, great job by Brisbane to keep that one on their side. Could have had the option. Didn't have the option there to dump, so he had to try to save that one for Alberta, and he did nicely off a tough serve by Ellison.
Sani takes a bit of power off the serve. And Trentz makes them pay for it. Easy pack on the pickup there from serve receive for the Gales, and then Trentz just hammers the ball home. I think Sani perhaps either trying to catch serve receive off guard or didn't want to commit a service error. But it's a point for Queens.
Yeah, huge side out for Queens. to get within 3 points of forcing a forced set.
Deep serve from Newert. Grosinger. Hutchison, backcourt. Gales stay clean on the jump from the backcourt from Hutchison. And it's 23-18. Queens 2 points from taking the third set.
You see there how effective a pipe attack can be. Great set by Grosinger. Queens runs a really quick attack out at the back row, kind of froze the Alberta block there a little bit.
So service error that time from the Gales. Back to serve will be Michael Gertz, trying to chip into this Alberta deficit. 23-19 in favor of the 7-seeded Gales. Float serve from Gertz, touch inside to Grosinger. Peckham able to cover on his own attack. Grosinger push far side to Trentz, and it's a double block. Goes the way of the Gales though, as Trentz able to power the ball through the hands. Setting set point here for Queens. So Trentz back to serve for Queens. 24-19 is the lead. Floater from Trentz. Brisbane push far side to McMullen off the top of the block, picked up by Newert. And a tip over the top, finds the floor, and the Gales stay alive. Take the third set, 25-19, and it's 2-1 overall. We're in for what should be an exciting fourth. Come back in a few moments' time after this break.
Every day is a chance to flip the script, an invitation to take everything we know and reinvent it. It takes courage. It's an obsession, never settling for just good enough. It takes a true creator to make something out of nothing. It takes guts. Calling all creators, those who see obstacles as a chance to win bigger. Calling all creators, the game changers, the difference makers, the boundary breakers, the tomorrow takers. Calling all creators. Get up, invent, adapt, write new rules. Calling all creators. It's a new day, create something.
And welcome back to the Burridge Gymnasium, getting set for set number 4. Tom, Golden Gales come back, trim the deficit to 2-1, but a great answer from Queens. 7th seed in the tournament, but not playing like it in that third set.
Yeah, no, they had much better response, especially offensively, hitting 387 after hitting 167 in the second set. They're still looking nice and loose heading in to this fourth set, trying to force a fifth. Extend this match. Alberta with their least efficient set offensively, only hitting 212 in the third set. Queens was able to pass the ball a little bit better and take advantage of their offensive opportunities.
We talked about the Gales being used to playing in those long matches, so this could cater to their advantage if they can push this one to 5. As Tom mentioned, they've had 6 matches go to 5 sets this season, and that's not including tournaments, so we'll see if the Gales can continue their pushback here and force this into a deciding 5th set.
Yeah, no stranger to 5-set matches and no strangers to being the underdog and fighting their way back in, as we saw at the end of the regular season in the OUA.
So Grosinger will start the 4th set. They float serve deep and off the arms of McMullen, and that's the response that the Gales wanted. Nice hard float serve to pass up and off the arms and into the stands.
Good start for a little bit of momentum for Queens coming into the fourth. Nice serve by Grossinger.
Grossinger with another float serve. We go to Sani on the far side. Brisbane comes inside to McMullen, who responds after that serve receiving error with an attack. Offhands it out of play. Team's back to ones.
McMullen seeming to be the serving target on back-to-back serves from Grossinger. Makes up for his errant pass with a nice kill off the block.
McMullen, floater. Hutchison with a great pass inside. Grossinger to Prentice. And the Gales are back up, leading 2-1. Textbook there from Queens. Good pass by Hutchison. Set inside from Grossinger, finds Malcolm Prentice. Tic-tac-toe for a good play there. Hutchison with a hard serve. Ball goes straight up on the pass. Roll shot attempt inside, that time from Sani. Inside shoot, finds the back line. Good attack there from George Hoburn. And it's back to 2-2.
That one looked like it went a little bit long there on the middle attack. So that was a bit low.
Good pass there by the fourth-year libero, Jared Schubert. And Hoburn takes his large strides towards that service line. As Newert has to keep it alive, Kaufman just going to push the ball over on the free ball. They run a quick inside, on the pipe backside to McMullen. Kaufman takes second hands, overside here to Trentz, off the block. Able good in coverage there. Hutchison back to Trentz, takes a bit off this time on the roll. Brisbane, pipe attack, McMullen off the touch and out of play. And the rally won by Alberta. Seems to have been the case so far today, Tom. A lot of those long rallies have gone the way of Alberta, and that can be demoralizing for Queens if those continue.
Yeah, both teams doing a great job, though, just digging, whether it's off the block or just straight off of the attack. You're never really going to get a perfect dig right to your setter, so it really comes down to taking advantage of an out-of-system attack if you can. Trent's taking advantage of a nice in-system run there. Great set from Grossinger and a nice connection to Trent's, the leader in the OUA of on the season in kills.
And the pace on that set from Grossinger freezes the middle and allows Trentz to swing in a solo block, and he's going to win that battle every single time.
Yeah, and that's why passing has become so important. You got to have Grossinger up at the net, let him run that speed to the outside or to the middle.
A deep serve, much to the chagrin there of Brock Davidiak, saying the near side linesman called it in. Couldn't really see it from our vantage point, but clearly Alberta thought it had gone one way, the official thought the other. Prentice with a deep ball, this time certainly staying in bounds. And a tip over top from Sani, who gets so much height. Hutchison swings from the backcourt. Brisbane, far side. Double block, and the coverage is nice underneath for Alberta. And they go up again, push down the line, trying to cut, and outside the block from Gertz. With just a little bit of a mistouch there, and it goes out of play.
Alberta's had a lot of success this afternoon with some tips and some wipes off of the Queens block. Just going a bit wide on that one.
Set comes inside, and they try to run the shoot inside to Gertz. Mishandle there, and we've talked a lot about the success of the middle attacks from Alberta today, but that's been a bit of a struggle the last couple of points. And Davidiak calls a timeout, and Alberta going to regroup here early in the fourth set.
Interesting to note, though, we're in the fourth set of play, and that's the first attack error from number 13, Aaron Chambers. He's been very efficient for the Golden Bears all afternoon, but Queens will happily take advantage of that. Enjoy being doubled up on Alberta going into this timeout. Going to be really important, I think, for Queens to try to get it early. We're playing a lot of back and forth volleyball in the first three sets we saw, but this is the first set they've really been able to jump out to a bit of a lead. They can continue to pass well and attack aggressively. They could be set up for some success later in the set. Ideally, if you're Queens, you really want to push this match to a fifth and deciding set. We've seen some great serving from Malcolm Prentice here.
Prentice back to serve with a 6-3 lead. Float serve, tough to handle Push to the outside, goes off the top of the block, and a good response that time from Gertz, who had been struggling early on in the set.
Nice quick response from Alberta coming out of that timeout. Always really key to try to get the momentum back on your side, especially coming out of a timeout.
Tariq Sani, back to serve, takes a bit off of it again, and Trent's able to receive that one easily. Newert with a big pass up by McMullen. Gertz, pass outside, cutting across as Newert stays in play. They try to go for the dump inside from Brisbane. Keeps it inside in the middle, good handle there out of the back from Grossinger. Push far side again, and squeezing through the block is Michael Gertz. And a tough break there for Queens. Getting a couple of good pickups, but unable to win a point out of it. They still lead 6-5.
Great defensive effort. Grossinger and Kaufman on that rally. Although Alberta ultimately able to come away with that one. They're now within one. It's a quick 2-0 run with their strongest server back at the line.
Tariq Sani, high toss. Comes down over top. Grossinger inside to Peckham. Coverage is underneath and kept up by Brisbane. Sets up to Sani again to keep awareness there of that attack line. Grossinger, far side to Trentz. Lays into one, Marcus Trentz. Unbelievable how he does it sometimes. Not even squared up to the net on that one. His body was angled his way out into the crowd. And still able to swing through top.
Yeah, Trentz is really, really good at going up, like you said, having his whole body facing the fans. Sitting in the stands, was still able to kind of cut back a little bit and put some pace on it as well.
And off the party ball on the serve, Marcus Trentz goes up for a joust with Brisbane. Off the hands of the Alberta setter and out of play. Queens back up by 3.
Patience on the joust by Marcus Trentz. Timing his jump well, pushing it off the hands of Brisbane setters. Generally very talented at winning the old joust, but Trent's coming through that time.
And this time Sandy goes into the tape. I think the Gales needed to get a touch on the block. It's going to be 4 touches called on Alberta, and a substitution upcoming now as Max Elgert is going to replace Brisbane.
Sometimes it's nice to get a bit of a different look, a different setter. Not always responsibility falling solely on the setter for struggles on a volleyball team, but just want to get a bit of a different look, try to find a pace. But Queens blocking really well here early on.
Change doesn't make a difference that time through as the Gales force Alberta into a timeout. It's 10-5 in favor of the Gales. And that's the second timeout used by the Golden Bears, and it's only 15 points into the set, Tom.
Yeah, they'll have the technical timeout, but other than that, they are not going to be able to bail themselves out. Queens continues to build a lead here. They're currently doubled up on the Golden Bears. Really carrying the momentum they had from that third set win into this fourth set. Queens as well still stocked up with both of their timeouts, so lots of optimism if you're a Gales fan right now. Although it is still early, if you're on the side of the Golden Bears.
Yeah, still ample time for Alberta to claw their way back in. Still very early on in the fourth set here. Queens needs to continue to push here, create a bit of separation, make it tougher on Alberta. They'll try to do so with a hard serve there from Newert. Overpass clips Trentz on the way through. Tough break there for Marcus Trentz. That's just a bit of an error coming across, went off the body of Trentz, and that puts an end to the service run.
Yeah, kind of hard to stop yourself when you're gliding through the air like that. Just misjudged that pass just a little bit.
Michael Gertz with a floater, and the Gales get it right back. Short serve from Gertz. Trentz can rest a little easier after that one, as Alberta gives the point right back, and Trentz will go to the service line.
Both teams pretty even so far in this match in terms of service errors, 8 apiece through 3 sets.
And that's off the foot, it looked like, of Newert. Another hard swing there from Sani, as Elgert now on page with Tariq Sani, but not tough to get on the same page with Tariq Sani.
Great set though from Elgert. He was able to draw Hutchison, give Sani a 1-on-0 attack, which if you're Sani, that's going to usually result in a kill if you're going to get that opportunity.
Great decision making that time from Grosinger as Peckham sells the attack in the middle and a good pace ball coming across. Finds a high jumping Zach Hutcherson. Nice attack goes off defender and out of play. Gales back up leading 12-7.
Gales doing a really good job of continuing to maintain their lead, not allowing Alberta to get back into the game with any serving runs.
Deep serve from Peckham though, a little too heavy. Try to get it to float a little bit too much. It goes out the back.
Now if you're Alberta, you're starting to lick your chops a little bit with the front row. Sandy coming back up. Joined alongside with McMullen.
Grosinger sets underneath. Hutchison gets there. Grosinger covers the attack. Push to the far side. Newert cross court. Off body and unable to get there is Sandy. As Elgert tried to scramble and keep the play alive. Sandy trying to get the last ditch effort there with the foot to keep it up.
Sandy just running out of room there. Trying to track down that second ball.
Nice push here though by the Gales, leading 13-8. Grosinger, deep serve again. Elgert, far side. Sandy with a hard attack over top. Taking things into his own hands. Gets well over top of the block and hard swing straight down to the floor.
Sandy trying to chase down Marcus Trent's. Trent's leading the match with 17 kills. 14 now for number 14, Tariq Sandy. Expect to see a lot more of him late in this match as Alberta tries to finish it off.
Grosinger sets offside to Hutchison. Block is straight down and comes in play. Taking went off of Hutchison on the way out of play. Tough break there for Queens. Good effort there by Alberta. McMullen to serve for the Golden Bears. Shallow float over top of the tape, and that's hard to pass up. Kaufman with the first touch, and we could see a timeout coming from Queens, and we will. As Brenda Willis and the Gales will talk things over, leading 13-11, but a run from Alberta gets them right back in it.
There's some good serving here from the Bears, allowing them to claw back to within 2. He said it's going to be really crucial for Queens to try to maintain that lead, but Alberta not letting that happen easily. There's some tough serving and some real strong attacking, especially from Tariq Sandy. He's gotten them back definitely within striking distance here.
So Alberta see if they continue to stay with Max Elgert or whether they'll bring back in Luke Brisbane, who had Elgert obviously coming back in out of the timeout. It'll be interesting to see what they decide to do, as Brisbane was setting for them in the 2 sets that they did win.
Elgert doing a nice job though, coming off the bench, contributing right away.
Alex McMullen on the serve. Kaufman able to handle this one cleanly. Grosinger to Trentz off the top of the block. McMullen gets there but can't keep it alive as the diving last-ditch effort underneath the ball pops it into the stands.
Got one lucky fan going home with the game well today. Great side-out swing from Trentz. Good run with Grosinger. That pipe just so fast for Queens coming out of the back row.
Here comes Hutchison. High top serve. Handled cleanly on receive though, and a great answer by Alberta. Good pass by Jackson Kennedy, another tall 6'6" left side, getting down and making a clean pass, and that makes, again, we've said it time and again, makes all the difference in the world getting a clean pass off a strong serve.
Absolutely, Kennedy, another guy who's done a really good job coming off the bench for Alberta, providing some solid offense here.
George Hoburn with a deep serve, passed up by Kaufman, tipped over the top by Trentz, catches the defense off guard as Elgert was pinching in. We saw that earlier, Tom, with Brisbane, or actually we saw it in the first game as well in the quarterfinal, where that setter having to peel in to try to anticipate first ball coming up, but nobody left open in position 1.
Yeah, tough being the defender in position 1. You got to be ready for the hard shot down the line, but also responsible for any tip shots coming over the block, and Trent's just with a good choice, pushing it deep instead of just going short over the block.
Good save there by McMullen, but the pipe goes off of McMullen and into the stands. And the Gales get to the technical timeout in the 4th set, leading 16-12, and have completely turned this match around.
Yeah, nice quick 3-1 run to take Queens into this technical timeout. Queens still with 1 timeout as well in their back pocket should they choose to use it. hopefully just take the rest here with the 3-1 in Alberta. Obviously just looking to come out of the tech, run their offense, which has been very strong all afternoon, especially out of the middle. Try to key in on any mismatches they can foresee.
So we talk about the technical timeout being a pivotal point in any set. We saw it happen in the last set when the Gales were able to push coming out of the tech. Now have a 4-point advantage with no timeouts to spare if you're the Alberta Golden Bears. So they're going to have to answer quickly here or run the risk of this going to 5 sets.
Yeah, last time they're going to be able to get some advice from head coach Davidic, but really it's all going to be on the player's shoulder here to try to chip their way back into this set. They're probably eager to end the game in 4 sets. Always tough being up 2-0 and having to go to a 5th and deciding set. Obviously, the team that kind of storms their way back carries a lot of momentum going into that 5th, so it's going to be a real crucial time here for Alberta to try to push, get back within striking distance, although they're not too far right now.
Prentice, the hard float serve, handled by Schubert. They come to Sani, off the block there of Trentz, who's frustrated with himself there, unable to close the seal. And it comes out of play, and it's a point for Alberta, and they needed that in a big way.
No surprise there, seeing Alberta go to Sani for the side out, going out of the timeout. 15 kills on the afternoon for him.
Sani, spin serve off the tape, Peckham there to read it. Grosinger set to the offside, hard hit by Newert. That could be a push the Gales need, as Newert just teed off on that one, Tom.
Newert also in double-digit kills for the Gales. That was his 12th. He's had a terrific afternoon in his first match ever at the national tournament.
Trent's leading the way with 19, and Newert up there with 12. Hutchison with 15. And a last-ditch effort there. Peckham just going to swat it back. Good awareness there by Jack Peckham. Caught everyone by surprise.
Including himself, I think. Wasn't too sure what to do on that. That's always a tough ball. When it looks like it might be falling just short of the net, do you stand there and try to pass it? Do you go up and try to put it back down? Nice read, though, nonetheless, from Peckham, able to come away with the point. Queens.
That's going to bring Jackson Kennedy. Oh, what a touch there by Sani as he saw it touching down in front of him. Roll shot out of the pipe. Alberta wins the point as Sani was alone on that back touchline in front of position 1 and was either going to hit him or had to do something with it and keeps it up with a foot.
Yeah, if it didn't hit his foot, that would have been a perfectly placed serve from Newert, but Sani just with the kick save, and then Lucas Kaufman was trying to crash in, anticipating the tip, but just caught the block of Jack Peckham and fell down in the back corner.
Float serve from Gertz, quick inside the middle to Peckham. Handled by Gertz out of 6 on receive. McMullen goes off the top, able to get a touch on it there, and Kaufman will take second ball, and it's going to go out of play on that forearm touch that hit the basketball net race in the rafters here at Burridge Gymnasium.
Basketball, and that's really the only obstruction here in the gym, but unlucky time for that to be the first roof violation of the match.
Gertz will serve for Alberta. Hard floater again, and Kaufman is forced to take second ball. Comes to Trentz and powers his way through. Off the top of the block and out of play. The Gales bring back up the lead to 4. It's 19-15.
The OUA leader in kills leading this match. That was Trentz's 20th kill of the afternoon.
And a mishandle. First time we've seen that coming from Jared Schubert. They're going to call the lift on serve receive.
That ball just caught a little bit too low there. Nice float serve from Trentz.
20-15, the lead in favor of the Gales, and a deep serve from Trentz gives the point back. But this is where Alberta needs to push. They've got George Hoburn coming back to the front court, joined up by McMullen. And the length of the setter, Max Elgert, stands at 6'4". Float serve again. Trent's able to put some height underneath it. Straight up for Hutchison. Scrambling over is McMullen. Elgert across to Sani, and this one's going to just go out the back. But a good touch there by Trent's, able to pick up the dig.
Sani comes flying in from outside the court. Too much power for Marcus Trentz to absorb. Now a really crucial time here for Queens. They're going to need a quick side out. Try to maintain this gap over Alberta.
Able to fix there, and that's not the response the Gales wanted at all as Holborn and Elgert combine on the block. Bit of a scramble play there from the Gales. We'll see if they're going to use their timeout. So they're okay for the time being. Maybe going to preserve it for later on in the set if they need it. Trent's able to get clean pass that time. They go back to Trent's through into the pipe. And what an attack from Marcus Trent's, and it's back up to 3 with Ellison coming on to serve.
That pipe attack's really been strong for Queens all game, especially when it's Marcus Trent's heading that pipe attack. Another great set from Grosinger, catching Alberta guessing just a little bit on the block. Jack Peckham sold it well as well.
Ellison with a deep float. They call a touch. And they're going to say it did go off the hands of Schubert. And now Davidiak arguing what the call is going to stand. I think Schubert going up, got a touch on it with his fingertips. It's a big point won by the Gales.
Yeah, the ball definitely looked to be sailing out of bounds.
Forearm adjustment there on the set from Elgert. Works out well for the Golden Bears. Push goes to the far side. Back to within 3. Three back in on serve receive here for Queens. Hard float, Trent's able to pass it up. Grosinger outside to Hutchison, down the line, finds the back corner, and it's a .1 for the Gales.
Davidiak again arguing he thought that one went long.
Our spot here looked pretty clean and painted that back corner, Tom.
Looked to be a nice shot. Both officials pretty confident in their call, and it will stand.
Yeah, this near side linesman just in front of the Alberta bench been getting an earful this set from Davidiak and the Alberta Golden Bears. Schubert handles that one with his hands to the outside, and Sani comes across with that power tip again. Touched off the block, so it resets it for Queens. Trent's able to get there and cover his own attack, but nobody there on the receiving end is Grosinger. Say he picked it up, but contact made with the net, it looks like, on Queens. But still 2 points away from pushing this to a deciding 5th set.
Yeah, some great blocking there from Alberta. Forcing Queens trying to have to earn that one, and ultimately the block helped secure that last point.
McMullen with a deep serve comes inside. Grosinger with one hand across to Newart. Kaufman comes back to Newart again. It's a big block from Holborn. Timed that one perfectly. Not a chance, even if anyone was in coverage there for Queens, to pick that one up.
Holborn using all 6 foot 8 inches to get up there and deny the rookie Newart. Great timing on the out of system block. Queens still not electing to take that timeout.
Another hard float serve. Trent's able to handle to the outside to Hutchison. Kaufman there to cover, and Newart scrambles to keep it alive. What an effort there by Mitchell Newart. But it doesn't matter. They go right back to Holborn in the middle. And again, another developing play where the Gales able to scramble through, and now, Tom, they'll call that timeout at 23-22. The Gales need to push here as Alberta is slowly gaining some momentum.
And a great job from Alberta. Some great blocking late in this set, as well as more offensive efficiency we've seen, especially coming out of the middle with Holborn and Aaron Chambers. Both of them right now combining for well over 20 kills.
George Holborn, 6'8", 235 pounds. Playing out of the middle for Alberta. Certainly can put his full height and weight into the ball, and he has done so here. He's had an excellent game in this national quarterfinal.
Now neither team with any timeouts left to use. So it will be a battle till the end here. Queens looking to extend the match. Alberta looking to finish it, obviously.
23-22, the lead in favor of the Gales, trying to force the 5th set. Alberta looking to close it out. McMullen, jumping float. Kaufman plays it, looked as though it may have gone out. Hutchison off the top of the block. Schubert pushes to the right side to Sani, roll shot over the top. They come inside and unable to get a touch. Prentice swings into the block, it's Holborn again. And Trent's can't quite get there to scramble and pick it up.
Queens with 2 or 3 offensive chances there, not able to put one away, and then Holborn in the middle. He is staring down Malcolm Prentice.
23 apiece now. And Trent shanks that one into the stands. And Marcus Trent's feeling the disappointment on that touch as the Gales were in the driver's seat, but let the foot off the gas a little bit and now have their season on the line. Match point now for Alberta. Quebec. Push to the outside, picked up there by Kaufman. Lays it off to Trent, into the net, and that's going to put an end to the fourth set. A disappointing finish here if you're the Queens Gales, and the last set that Marcus Trent will play for the Tricolor. A disappointing finish, but a great effort by the Queens Gales here in the 2-7 matchup. But Alberta just a little bit too strong in the end. They take the fourth set, Tom, 25-23, and win the match 3-1.
Great final push by the Queens Gales, but Alberta just showing why they've been consistently ranked as one of the top 3 teams in the country. Able to make a nice strong push there, regardless of the deficit they face, and come away with the win to advance to the semifinal.
Okay, we'll come back for players of the match upcoming. We'll throw you to a quick break.
They will advance to the second championship semifinal tomorrow evening at 8 o'clock, taking on the UBC Thunderbirds. Queens moves into the consolation side. They will take on the UNB Varsity Reds at 1 o'clock. Coming up in a moment, it will be the presentation of the players of the game. At this time, I call upon Ms. Carajado, the Manager of Compliance, Eligibility, and Discipline for USports, to make our presentation of our players of the game. First, for Queens, number 2, Marcus Trent.
So Marcus Trent in his consolation quarterfinal, or they'd be moving to the consolation side, so his career not quite done yet. He's a little overzealous on that, but Trent's getting player of the game for the Gales. We'll see who will get player of the game. Thinking maybe Chambers or